kind of questions do you have? What are these questions that you'd like to ask?
But like just a few things. They didn't really like completely take my faith away. It was this and morality and one other thing that really shook my faith. But I mean, there's three big things for me. There's lots of compilations of like errors in the Quran online, and most of them are just wrong. It's just people that I don't know what's wrong with them. But there's three big things that stand out to me. One of the first ones was in At-Tariq, Surah, chapter 86, verse 7, which says that it's the verse about where sperm comes
I know
from. It says
this
it's coming.
verse.
Okay, of course you do.
Yes.
It's about sperm coming from a place between the rib cage and the loins. And I
Sure.
thought about this a long time. I read like Ibn Kathir's tafsir, read tafsir from other scholars, and the more I read about it, the more I felt like I just don't know if this doesn't make sense to me, because I think we all know what modern medicine tells us about where sperm comes from. Sperm comes from. How do you make sense of that?
Can you read the verse for me?
Yeah, I can. It says, so that's 86:7. Well, it's actually more than one verse.
I know.
It is, then let people consider what they were created from. They were created from a spurting fluid.
Slowly.
Okay.
We gotta take things a step by step. No, not in a rush here. So let's go verse by verse. Go ahead. Yes.
Okay. So this is verse 86. Verse 5 to begin with. Let people then consider what they were created from.
Okay, one second. So the verse says, فَلْيَنْظُرِ الْإِنسَانُ مِمَّا خُلِقَ. Let the human being, not people, let the human being, right? And then continue reading. Yeah. Let him consider or see from what he was created. Yeah.
They were created from a spurting fluid.
Okay, so spurting fluid, correct? You were saying sperm a minute ago.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you this question: is spurting fluid and sperm the same thing?
It seems to be describing it, but it's not exact.
But that wasn't my question. If it's describing sperm or not, I asked you: is spurting fluid and sperm the same thing? This is a completely different question.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. So if someone says, if I have a bottle of water and then I like push out some liquid, does that fall under the definition of spurting liquid or fluid?
No. Yeah.
It
if
doesn't.
That comes under spurting.
It does, of course.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Sure. So when we say fluid omitted or ejected, whatever term you want to use, or whatever translation you just used, there is nowhere there does it say sperm, correct?
Yeah,
so
no,
on what
it doesn't say
basis?
sperm.
Sure. Now the Quran in many other places uses a specific word for sperm. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so there are words for sperm, like nutfa. There are words for semen and sperm and mani and nutfa. And these words exist in the Quran. Yeah. So since these words exist in the Quran, and here this verse specifically uses another word, ma'in dafiq, a fluid omitted. Ma, by the way, in the Arabic language can mean water, fluid, any type of fluid, basically. Ma.
Okay,
any type of fluid. Dafiq means is flowing, omitted, ejected, etc. Just like a flowing water, fluid, etc. That's all the verses say. Now, the fact that this verse doesn't use nutfa and it doesn't use mani and it doesn't use any of these words is clearly telling you that something else is going on here, isn't it? Wouldn't you agree it's rational to say that since it's using a different word?
I don't know. I would say I don't know, but I'm listening.
Oh, what is it that you don't know? So it uses the word for sperm in other places. In here, specifically, it uses a different word. So is it not trying to say something else? What is it you don't know about this?
I can believe that it's trying to say something else. Yeah.
Okay, so here the verse is not talking about sperm. Once we've established that clearly, it's talking about gushing fluid, emitted fluid, etc. Okay, now let's continue reading.
Okay. It's emitting fluid, spurting fluid, stemming from between the backbone and the rib cage.
1 second. So here, stemming or coming out from between the backbone and the rib cage. Okay, ribs and backbone. Let's just say ribs and backbone to make it very simple. Okay. Now, if we have the verse saying stemming, what is stemming there? So that's the second question I'm asking. So the first question I've already established that this is not sperm. Number two, we are saying here, what is coming out from between the backbone and the ribs? What is the verse talking
about? What do you mean? Sorry, I'm a bit confused.
Read the verse again.
Yeah. So it says,
the verse again.
But fluid that stem, well, it's not stem, yeah, coming from between the backbone and the rib cage.
Yeah. What is coming out? What is coming out?
Water. It's like a spurting fluid.
Why? Why can this verse cannot be referring to the noun that was mentioned before, which is the human being? You have pronoun there. You have two nouns that have been mentioned. First, let the human being consider from where he was created, which is the verse before.
Yeah.
And then it gives you a description from what he was created, which is a gushing fluid.
Mm-hmm.
And then it says here, coming out. Why is this coming out? Why is it necessarily referring to the fluid and not the human being? Why? While in the Arabic language, not only in the Arabic language, but any language, it can refer to the other noun. Now, if you read, for example, Abdul Halim's translation, if you'd like to Google that right now, Abdul Halim's translation of the Quran, and go to the same verse. So it will tell you the human being is coming out. Read it for us, please.
Abdul Halim's translation. Let's see. Translation.
Yes.
Okay, so it says, man should reflect on what he was created from.
So here, you see, it's more precise here. So it says what? Man. So it talks about a human being, insan, not people, which is like nas. It's a different word, but okay.
Yes.
Continue reading, yeah.
He's created from a spurting fluid.
Then
he emerges from between the backbone and the breastbone. Got it.
You see? So very clear.
Yes.
Yeah, very, very, very clear. Very, very obvious. Okay. Now, so very easily explained. Correct?
Yes.
Now,
yes.
The first assumption is that this verse is referring to sperm. It's not referring to sperm at all. So that's an incorrect assumption. And number two, the verse is not necessarily referring to the fluid, the gushing fluid. It can refer to the human being, and it can refer to the gushing fluid. Okay. So what if someone says, no, I know, I'm you know what? I'm gonna say, I don't accept your explanation. I only take the gushing fluid. Let's say, okay. So let's take the gushing fluid theory. The gushing fluid theory refers to the semen. First to the semen, not the sperm. These are two separate things because it's the whole fluid. If it refers to the fluid, which is the semen. Now that semen can exist if you want to look at the end of the backbone and the ribs. It's in between the 2 points. Or if you want to take a different translation in the Arabic language, because it can also refer to the coccus bone, not necessarily the backbone. So it can be the ribs and the coccus bone, which is here, down, under. And either way, it can be in between. So whether you want to take the translation, so you have something called the seminal vesicles, which is located up. It's not located down where the testicles are. That's why people make the confusion when they think about the sperm. It's not talking about the sperm. It's talking about the semen. And the semen starts, the fluid starts from the seminal vesicles. It's originated there. So you can Google where the seminal vesicles are. And you'll see probably a picture of that next to the backbone. Now, either way, whether someone wants to take that interpretation or doesn't want to take the interpretation, this verse, nobody can come and say there's an error in it in any way, shape, or form.
Got it. I got it. Okay. Okay, right. I think that clears up that one for sure.
Right.
Okay. Perfect. There's a second one, though, that I find really difficult. This one, I actually, that first one, I didn't struggle with too much. I just thought it was a bit weird. And I read up a bunch of tafsirs, and they didn't really say this. But reading the text, and I have a very basic understanding of Arabic, that seems to make sense to me. But the second one is really, really tricky. It's about what Allah knows. So a lot of places in the Quran, like Al-Am, verse 59, and Baqarah, verse 231, they will lots of places in the Quran will say Allah knows everything, right?
Sure.
But then you have verses like Ali Imran, verse 140, 142, Ma'idah, verse 94, and Tawbah, verse 16, which seems to suggest that there are things that Allah doesn't know.
Okay. Would you like to read these verses for us before we explain
Yeah, for sure.
them? Sure. Perfect.
So let me go to Ali Imran. Yeah, so it says essentially,
Mhm.
if you have suffered a blow, then they too have suffered one like it. We deal out such wait. Yeah. We deal out such days among people in turn for God to find out who truly believes, for him to choose martyrs from among you. God does not love evildoers. I
Mhm.
prefer to say Allah instead of God because it sounds weird.
Okay.
But
Which
yeah,
translation are you reading again? Because translation
that's
is
the
very
Abdul Halim translation. Actually, I've
sure.
not read it like this
You
before.
haven't changed it. Okay. Sure.
No, I
Sure.
haven't changed it. No.
Yeah. Sure. So, your question is about which part?
I think it's specifically about the part that says,
You can use a different
for Allah.
translation if it's easier for you. Either way.
Yeah, for Allah to find out who is. It says in Arabic. It says, وَلِيَعْلَمُ يَعْلَمُ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا.
Uh-huh. I know the verse, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So here, to know is the word that you would like to ask about. So in
Yeah.
Islam, and I would say also again in common sense, not just in Islam, there's two types of knowledge. There's knowing something before it happens, and there's knowing something after it happens.
Yep.
Again, I'm going to say this again. Knowing something before it happens and knowing something after it happens. Now, scholars would refer to the verse that you just mentioned as something called the ilm al-dhuhur, the knowledge of something after it occurs or after it happens or after it appears, etc. Now, me knowing something before it happens is not the same as me observing it and seeing it and knowing it after it's happening. These are two types of knowledge. Now, for example, I can know that Adam is going to visit me on Thursday. So I know that. There's no doubt that I know that. Now, when Adam comes and I see him and I experience him, etc., now I know that Adam has visited. These are two different types of knowledge, not the same exact category and type of knowledge. So this verse is referring to the ilm al-dhuhur, the knowledge of the thing after that thing happens. So Allah knowing something before it happens, which is the knowledge of the unseen, as the Quran says, alimul ghaybi wa shahada. So the Quran here gives two differentiation between two different types of knowledge. Alimul ghaybi, the knowledge of the unseen, wa shahada, and the seen. So there is two types of knowledge, two types of categories of knowledge the Quran gives. Knowing something of the unseen or prior to it happening, and knowing something after it appears, and knowing something after it happens. So this verse is referring to that. And all of these verses that refers to that, to something after it takes place. So Allah already knows it before it takes place. And Allah knows it, now the different type of knowledge, after it occurs and after it happens. Is that clear?
Yeah. So you're saying that essentially, despite the fact that it says, let me find the exact verse.
It doesn't say Allah doesn't know. All it says that Allah will know, referring to the other type of knowledge. So none of the verses that you can find will negate Allah's knowledge of something. There's no verse out there that says Allah doesn't know something. But the verses that says Allah will know refers to the knowledge that I told you, the knowledge of something after that thing happens. It's called the ilm al-dhuhur. And scholars have talked about this for thousands of years. I'm not bringing anything new out here. You'll find this actually in any of the tafsir in the Arabic language if you read them.
Okay.
Such as al-Tabari or etc.
So, okay, I'm pretty sure I found a verse that actually says, "While Allah does not know," though.
Please, let's read that verse that says that Allah doesn't know something. I will be very, very, amazed.
I mean,
that.
I don't
Since
know.
I know the Quran and I've never seen any such verse, which I know doesn't exist, but I am happy to consider what you're going to bring. Perhaps I'm missing something. Who knows?
So in Ali Imran, verse 142, it says, the actual Arabic is وَلَمَّا يَعْلَمِ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ.
And what does that mean? وَلَمَّا يَعْلَمِ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا مِنكُمْ.
What does lamma mean?
When?
Okay.
You said, I thought you had a basic Arabic.
Allahu.
I thought you
What does
had
that
basic knowledge of the Arabic language.
I don't have.
And
I
when
don't have
Allah
barely
knows.
any
And when
knowledge of the
Allah
Arabic language.
knows. And when Allah knows.
Why is it translated by multiple translators as when Allah does not know
When? This.
who? Huh?
Who's wait, sorry, can you give me the reference again? I'm not sure who's does not know. Can you give the reference again?
In Yusuf Ali and Marbadu Pictel, both translated as
oh, okay.
Allah.
Why are you picking in these two and leaving every? I just told you, Abdul Halim. You left Sahih International. You left all of the good translations. You're picking on these two.
No,
I already told you what either way. I told you what the Arabic says. Like regardless. But where's the reference again? I'm curious to see them actually translating it that way. That would be. Can you say again which verse?
It's Ali Imran verse 142.
Okay. You said Pictel, right? Let me see.
Pictel, yeah.
Or deemed ye that ye would enter paradise, while yet Allah knoweth not those of you who really strive, nor knoweth those of you who are steadfast. Of course, it's a terrible translation. That's all I'm gonna say. Now, Yusuf Ali, do you think that ye would enter heaven without Allah testing those of you who... Now, why are you claiming Yusuf Ali says that? Or Yusuf Ali
sorry, my
says
mistake.
here? Okay, so we have one bad translation.
Yeah.
When we're reading every other translation out there, it doesn't say the same thing. So, for example, reading Mustafa Khattab, without Allah proving which of you truly struggle, Sahih International, Allah have not yet made evident those of you who fight, Abdul Halim translation, without God first proving which of you... So why do I need to leave every other translation out there, which is literally not saying the same thing, and focusing on one translation is clearly irregular and incorrect?
So this is the problem I have, right?
Obviously, I would say that is not a fair methodology by any extent. So just because someone mistranslates something while every other translation is correcting that translation, that proves nothing. And that's why we go back to the Arabic.
Yeah. I guess this is the problem I had, right? I just didn't fully understand why, because in every one of those translations, some of them translate in different ways. Some of them say test, some of them say proving, but I've never seen the word ya'lamu be translated as test or proving, and it just felt like everyone's...
No, it's the context of the verse. Is the context of the verse. Is the context of the verse.
I think I agree with you there, because actually
the verse is referring to that, of Allah basically making clear and evident those who are struggling and those who strive, etc. That's the context of it. So it's a valid translation. There's nothing wrong with that. Verses are not translated word for word. That's not how translations works in any language anyways. If you translate things word for word, which is what Google does most of the time, you just end up with shambles. When you mix words together and provide context, then things become clear. Either way, none of the verses says la ya'lam. There's no verse that says does not know in the Quran.
So walamma ya'lam Allahu ladina just means, what does that mean exactly?
When
what was the actual meaning of the sentence? Walamma ya'lam Allahu ladina.
And when Allah knows of you, those who have struggled, etc. That's it. I told you there's two types of knowledge, just specific referring to the knowledge of appearing. So when Allah knows that type of knowledge, essentially, knowledge of something happening after it happens, in the context of what I explained to you before.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you, yeah. It's just that in Quran.com, when I put the mouse over lamma, it says, while it's not yet. And I just don't understand. I thought that's what that meant.
Not yet. When or it's not yet, what's the difference? Like, where are you getting the contradiction there? Something is yet to happen.
Yeah,
something is yet to happen. So that type of knowledge is yet to happen. The knowledge of the thing after the thing happened. What is the issue?
Yeah, fair. And one of the big things that actually dawned on me is that actually there's no place in the Quran where Allah says that He knows everything in the future. It does actually separate those things out. I've actually never read it anywhere in the Quran that says Allah knows all of the future. So,
No,
I,
no. Of course, it does say that. Of course, it does say that.
well, where does it say that?
Where Allah knows everything.
No, everything. Well, okay, if you say Allah knows everything,
Yeah, that
then
already includes the knowledge of the future. But as I already told you, that type of knowledge that the verse is referring to is the knowledge of things before they occur, because they haven't yet occurred. And when they occur, there's also a different type of knowledge there. And both of them are not contradictory. And I give you already an example. If I know you're going to come over, this is me knowing that you came over after you came over. These are two types of knowledge. They're both knowing. And nobody can say, I don't know, just because before you came, that's a different type of knowledge that you coming after. These are two different types, categories.
yeah, I can kind of see that.
And there is, like, for example, Quran 2:5, where it mentions like that He knows that which is before them and after them, for example, referring to the future, etc. Like many verses of the Quran, but as I said, verses that says knows everything. All of these verses are referring to that type of knowledge.
Okay, then there's one last verse, I guess, that kind of has been in my head for a long time.
Sure.
And it's it's not one, it's several. There's one of them, it's basically about where is the sun in relation to the earth.
Okay. All right. Do you want to go again and read the verse, wherever the verse is?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So there's two
Sure.
verses here. I think the first one is
Alright.
at Kaf, verse 86.
Sure.
I'm pretty sure you know this one.
Yeah, about Dhul Qarnayn. I know everything you're bringing up before you bring it.
Yeah, about Dhul Qarnayn. Yeah. So
Yeah.
should I read it to you, or should I read it?
I'm just letting you read the verses for your own benefit. Yes, of course. Go ahead.
So I'm gonna start from verse 84, and it says,
Mhm.
surely we established him in the land, which is Dhul Qarnayn, and gave him the means to all things. So he traveled a course. That's verse 85. And in verse 86 says, until he reached the setting point of the sun, which appeared to him to be setting in a spring of murky water, where he found some people. And we said, O Dhul Qarnayn, either punish them or treat them kindly.
Perfect. So the verse is saying, Dhul Qarnayn, it appeared to him the sun is setting in muddy water, and then he found the people. Now, can you tell me where is the issue in the verse?
Well,
So Dhul
the
Qarnayn was
Arabics,
walking, and he reached the people, and then he perceived the sun. He saw the sun. He experienced the sun setting, in a muddy pool, like anyone would experience the sun setting in the sea or whatever place when the sunset happens. Where's the issue there?
well, the Arabic is like wajadaha, right?
Sure. Okay. So
Tabahutu.
and we've established. I mean, you said you know a little bit of Arabic, but you don't know much of
Tiny
Arabic.
bit,
I'm assuming. Yeah. So can you tell me what does wajada mean?
It just means like to find something, to come upon something.
That's it. So I
Yeah.
cannot use wajada for sensing something, experiencing something, perceiving something, discovering something. I cannot say that.
As well as you could, but like there's other verses in the Quran which use that are literally talking about finding things specifically.
No, are there other narrations and examples in the Arabic language and narrations and hadith and verses that when you use the word wajada does not necessitate a physical thing? When you say wajada, how do you understand it? It has to be a physical thing that you touch. How do you understand the word wajada?
No, because there's lots of places where the word wajada is used, like say, oh, we found our fathers in this religion, and it's like,
yeah. Okay,
it's not,
good.
you're not
وجدنا
finding
آباءنا على
them
ملة.
literally.
Yeah. وجدنا آباءنا على ملة. We found our forefathers upon a tradition or religion. Yes. So
yeah.
You then agree that a wajada can refer to knowing something, perceiving something, becoming sensible of something. Now, anyways, let's take you and me here out of the equation. Let's go to a basic lexicon. Go to Lane's lexicon. It's not by a Muslim. And just put the word wajada. Okay, let me. I already have it here ready for you before you say. What does it say? Wajada. He found it, attained it, discovered it, perceived it, saw it, experienced it.
Mm-hmm.
So we have here a lexicon, which is clearly not by a Muslim, very famous lexicon, which explicitly tells you the word wajada is used in that way. So here, Allah is giving us a description of a story of the experience of Dhul Qarnayn when he was walking, encountering people, dealing with them. So he encountered people, he experienced, saw, perceived the sun sitting in a pool or a muddy spring or whatever translation you want to use. Where's the issue there?
I guess so. That's what I thought initially, but then there's this other verse, and this is the hard one, and this is the last bit, and I don't like leading people into traps, so I'm going to say that I don't think there's a way that you can interpret this one in a good way.
Okay, but first, we've already dealt with everything you brought, so I'm not sure why you are.
I agree.
Being so.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't know. Before you bring in something, you still think, oh, you're not going to deal with this. Okay, so go ahead. What's the last one?
Okay, so I guess it's let me find it. Surah chapter 36, verse 38. Let me just find that exactly. 36. It's Yasin 38, which says, and it's very simple, the sun travels for its fixed term.
Love it.
What does that mean? So I give you the Arabic.
والشمس تجري لمستقر لها ذلك تقدير العزيز العليم. Yeah, I know the verses. All right, of course. So what is the issue? Go ahead. Tell me.
What does a fixed term mean?
Fixed term means...
لمستقر.
Yeah, fixed term means, as the narration, the hadith explains, that the sun will end under the throne of Allah Azza wa Jal, and then it will be told to go back, and then it will rise from the opposite side, which is a sign of the Day of Judgment. So we have opically, the end of times, major signs of the end of times, the end of humanity, you can say, and then when the resurrection is going to happen. Now, there is a narration, hadith, which already explains this verse. You find it in the tafsir. It talks about the sun. The Prophet is asked, where is that mustaqar? Where is the end place? And then the Prophet says, it's under the throne, basically, of Allah. And then it will be told to go back. Meaning, when it is the time of the Day of Judgment, is coming back now, major signs of the Day of Judgment. One of them, which is a sign rising from the opposite side. So, where is the issue?
So when I read Ibn Kathir, I'm trying to understand this. He said it's referring to the sunset.
Well, Ibn Kathir said it's referring to the sunset, or Ibn Kathir quoted a weak narration saying it's referring to the sunset. Which one is it? Because when you have a book of tafsir and it brings narrations, nowhere would that person of tafsir tell you that I'm only bringing authentic narrations, such as al-Tabari. And many people in their books say in the beginning, in the introduction of their books, that they are bringing news, like al-Tabari says in his book of Tariq, for example, whatever. Just bringing news. They're not. None of them have a criteria of only bringing you authentic narrations, which is why they put the chain of narration there. They put the chain of narration. This person reported from that person. Why do they put it? They put it so we can... It's upon you now to do the investigation. They've done their work. They've given you the chain of narration. Now, through the science of hadith, you look at the people in the chain and you come to the conclusion as a scholar of hadith, whether this is authentic or this is not authentic. Now, Ibn Kathir does not only bring you authentic narrations in his book. So, I've already given you the authentic narration, which is explaining this hadith. Now, there is a weak narration, which we already know is weak. It's certainly 100% weak, because it contradicts not only this narration, other narrations as well. I can tell you who are weak in the chain as well, if you'd like to bring the
yeah, please.
Now, okay, bring the narration that you're referring to.
I think it's a hadith by Abu Dhar that refers to it says he asked the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam what this verse meant, and he said it's talking about when the sun, where the sun goes when it sunsets, and it says it goes and prostrates underneath the throne of Allah and asks for permission to rise again, and then Allah gives it permission to rise.
Okay, what's the issue with that? I just told you that, isn't it? I just literally
where
told you.
Where does the sun go when it's sunset? How does that make sense?
Well, there's no sunset.
Yeah.
In reality,
there's no sunset.
Of course, it's a it's a figurative term that we use in language. That's why you use it in language. That's why people Google when is the sunset. So you can use it in language. But if now you're talking about the sun itself, where is the problem in the narration? I don't get it. The narration says the sun is moving, its settling place is under the throne, and then it will be told to go back. And I told you later in the end of times, it will rise from the opposite side. So where is the issue in the narration? I don't get it.
So does the sun ask permission from Allah, prostrate to Allah and ask permission to rise every day?
Yes. Well, again, what is the issue? All of these things are metaphysical things, realities. Like when we say when we say the sun,
where is the
first,
sun when
one
it's
second,
asking permission to rise? Sorry, go on.
One
Sorry.
second. Yeah, 1 second. I just want to talk about the prostration part first. So prostration,
the prostration part, I don't have a problem with it, because you used to read Surah Ar-Rahman. Yeah, go on.
No worries. Yeah, no worries. I just, for the benefit of the people. So prostration, Allah says in the Quran, وَإِن مِّن شَيْءٍ إِلَّا يُسَبِّحُ بِحَمْدِهِ. There isn't anything. When you have in and illa, this is for everything. So there is not anything in existence except that glorifies Allah. Then Allah says, وَلَكِنْ لَا تَفْقَهُونَ تَسْبِيحَهُم. But you do not know how they glorify Allah. So how they prostrate, the howness of how they do it. Of course, it's not the same way we're doing it. Okay? So that's the first part about prostrating in its own way, in the way Allah created it to worship Allah. Okay? Following Allah's commands, systems, order, etc. Now, you're saying now, let me explain one other thing to you. The sun is moving right now. You're saying, where's the sun? How is it going to under the throne? That's the question you're asking. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you know where the throne is according to Muslims? Throne of Allah.
I thought that it was in the, I don't know. I can't remember. Just a brain fart, but in the seventh heaven?
Not in the seventh heaven. No, above.
Above the seventh heaven. Okay.
Above everything. Yeah. Above everything.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So the throne which is above everything. So let's hypothetically, obviously here for the sake of demonstration, give this example. You have 7 layers of what we call sama, that which is above us. You can call it universes. This is all, everything we see is just the first one layer. Sama ad-dunya, the first one. So we have the first layer. Then we have a second layer, third layer, fourth layer, etc. Then you have the 7th layer. Then you have Jannah and heaven and hellfire. You have all of these things. Then you have the throne of Allah above everything. So if you have the throne of Allah here, okay, everything under it, we have the first sama here, and we have the star here, the sun. Is the sun under the throne of Allah?
Yeah, well, everything would be.
Okay, done. Like, where's the problem?
Why does it need to ask permission to rise? At what point is it where it's asking permission to rise?
Again, you see, now you're coming back to the metaphysical aspect of these issues, like asking permission. How does it ask permission? It is following.
Yeah, okay, go on.
Yeah, it is following the system and the law of Allah. So rise is in our own understanding, like we said.
Still use it today. We still use it today.
Yeah. So I'm telling you, rise in this hadith is referring to our perspective, meaning it asks Allah's permission to follow the laws that Allah has given it to do. I don't see any contradiction. Where is the issue with the narration? I'm still trying to find where's the problem that contradicts either reality or common sense in the narration.
It's clearly describing a flat Earth. In fact, even in Ibn Kathir's tafsir,
whoa. Now we moved to the separate issue. But first, look. Where anywhere in this verse or in the hadith or anywhere does it say flat Earth? Please.
It doesn't specifically say flat Earth, but it's describing a situation that. No, I'm saying it's describing a flat Earth. This description.
What's describing a flat Earth? Where?
If the sun is setting and then asking permission to rise and then rising, that can only happen in a flat Earth. If it's going somewhere, it's saying it's going until it goes.
I'm sorry. You just agreed with me that this setting and rising is in our description, our understanding, our perception.
Yes.
Now, when we talk about the body of the sun itself, is it moving? Because you talk about it going
moving,
and not going,
but not for
okay. Okay, wait. Did we all know that it was moving all the time?
No. Well, I mean, we thought it was, but
no, we thought it wasn't actually. We thought it was static. It has no orbit. If you go back to 50 years ago, 60 years ago, 70 years ago, we talk about general relativity now.
I agree. Yeah.
Okay, so the Prophet was 1,400 years ago, and he's bringing you knowledge now, which contradicts the general knowledge of his people. The sun is moving. Now,
I mean, no.
So this sun, know what?
It doesn't contradict the knowledge that people had at the time, because they would have seen the sun moving and thought it was moving.
No, there was theories about the earth moving. There was theories about the sun moving. There was theories about everything with the Greeks.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay, sure. So now we have this description of the sun is moving. in hadith, and we have in reality the fact that the sun is moving.
Yeah.
So where's the flat Earth? So if I believe today the sun is so if I believe today the sun is moving, and I was just telling you now, you know what, sunset was like, you know what, 3-4 hours ago, and you know, sun is gonna rise tomorrow around like 8 o'clock. Then I believe in flat Earth. Is exactly what the hadith is saying.
No. I get you. I see what you're saying. Okay, I follow you. Yeah.
Sure. So there is no relationship now with the flat Earth. Now you're gonna talk about something else with the flat Earth and Ibn Kathir. What did you want to say?
So in Ibn Kathir, he says that actually the world is not a sphere like the astronomers say, but it's actually a dome. But that's Ibn Kathir's interpretation. It doesn't matter. But my point is,
no. What word does Ibn Kathir use? And are you talking about his own interpretation?
I haven't read the Arabic. I haven't read the Arabic of Ibn Kathir, so I couldn't actually say exactly.
That's the problem. But do you know Ibn Kathir? No, do you know Ibn Kathir? Regardless of what position he takes, do you know Ibn Kathir is a student of Ibn Taymiyyah?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So, okay, I'd be surprised if you know that. But Ibn Kathir is a student of Ibn Taymiyyah. I'm sure you heard the name Ibn Taymiyyah before.
Yeah,
I'm sure you heard.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, he's the Sheikh of Islam. He's like well known, one of the most prolific figures.
Yeah, you know, he came up after the Mongols started invading the
Yes.
Empire.
We call him Sheikh al-Islam, the Sheikh of Islam. That's a title they've given to the biggest scholars, basically, essentially. So he is the teacher of Ibn Kathir, as well as al-Dhahabi and many other major scholars of Islam. Now, Ibn Taymiyyah, the teacher of Ibn Kathir, talks about the consensus. Not only him, but also Ibn Hazm talk about the consensus of Islamic scholars that the sun is round. So Ibn Taymiyyah, not only Ibn Taymiyyah, also Ibn Hazm, that the earth is round. Yes, because you're talking about the sorry, not the sun.
Oh, really?
You're talking about the flat earth. Yes, I'm here telling you how that is absolutely not the case in our tradition, and I'm refuting it clearly here. So Ibn Taymiyyah says that, and he also quotes Ibn Hazm, or mentions Ibn Hazm, which is another big scholar in Islamic history in Andalusian Spain, who said the same thing. He had a book on consensus, and he mentioned this issue. And he said he's not aware of a single reputable scholar. He doesn't only say it's a consensus. He says, I'm not aware of any single reputable scholar that says otherwise. Well, there are people in Islamic history that said that. But now if we're talking about not only the majority, but the even reporting consensus. When a scholar reports consensus, that means you've not seen anyone. You have someone like Ibn Hazm, which was very, very well aware of the opinions of scholars, and also Ibn Taymiyyah. They both tell you that this is an agreement among the scholars. By the way, and in this case, it was clearly defying the beliefs of the people at the time, because the overwhelming majority of the people believed that it was flat. But you have here the Muslims, and they use the Quran, chapter 39 of the Quran specifically, verse 5 as evidence. Where Allah uses the following term, يُكَوِّرُ اللَّيْلَ عَلَى النَّهَارِ وَيُكَوِّرُ النَّهَارَ عَلَى اللَّيْلِ. And the word يُكَوِّرُ is from the word kura. Do you know what kura means?
It's like recitation, isn't it?
No, not kura. Kura, not qira'ah. Kura means ball or round, something round.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Kura. So the verse uses the word yukawwiru from the term kawwara, which is to round shape something in a ball shape. So they use this verse, which is explicit and clear, about
which verse is this?
Chapter 39 of the Quran, verse 5. Surah Al-Zumar. So it tells you يُكَوِّرُ اللَّيْلَ عَلَى النَّهَارِ وَيُكَوِّرُ النَّهَارَ عَلَى اللَّيْلِ. So either way, they would use this interpretation. And then they also quote people of knowledge from the past, whether it is the students of the companions, etc. People from the way from the past, over 1,000 years from our time now, who use this verse to come to the same conclusion, understand. So Islamic scholars refute this idea hundreds and hundreds of years in the past already, clearly in their books.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. By the 13th century, that would have made sense. But I'm just reading you what I read in Ibn Kathir. I have read the Arabic. I've said that I didn't read the Arabic. So
what 13th? What do you mean 13th century? I'm talking to you about Ibn Hazm, hundreds of years in the past. I'm talking about Ibn Taymiyyah, Ibn Hazm.
Yeah, so I'm
who
talking
are
about.
hundreds of years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when I say 13th century, I mean like the 12.
You're talking
yeah.
about the Christian calendar. Okay, all right, sure.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No, that's fine. Yeah, I'm just trying to see what you're talking. Okay, so is that cleared up?
So I guess my problem now is that
Yes.
this is sort of kind of what I came to. I mean, this you had a lot more to go over, but I kind of read through these, and it's not like completely shook my faith, but I still can see an interpretation of these verses and these hadith, and particularly the one in Kaf, that this is describing uh, a, a helio a world where the sun goes around the earth, which is not what we know to be true today. And when I was reading through it, I was like, oh, if this word means this and if that word means this, then maybe we can make it make sense. And then I was going through all the previous ones as well. Yatlamu in this context might mean to make evident, or it might mean test. And then going back to the first one, oh, maybe it's talking about like something inside. Well, I think actually you explained that first one quite well. But in the end, I was like, this is not what I was promised. I was promised that this book was going to be error free. And now I'm just sitting here and trying to interpret it into being error free. And I'm just like, okay, I'm not saying there's got errors in it, but I'm going to say this, that I don't know. And that's me being honest. I don't know. I don't know Arabic for one, like I've kind of demonstrated and you've displayed. But also at the same time, the more I look into this, the more I kind of just have this feeling like I don't know what this means. And this looks strongly. There's too many notes in there that show me that this is actually describing a sun going around the earth. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. But that was a big thing for me. And it kind of unraveled. I still would say now, I could interpret it the way you're saying it. I could, but I also couldn't. And I don't know. How do we know which way to go? If we assume it's correct, then we would just, say, oh, yeah. But if we are trying to work it out, whether it is or not, it's difficult. That's my feeling, at least.
Okay. Now let's take things a step back. There's a few things. First, have I explained and answered the questions that you brought forward rationally?
I think the first one, very good. Like that was perfect. Second
No,
one,
I'm talking about all of them.
no, I would say I think you've explained it quite rationally. I would say that if I was
in fact,
on
you
the
yourself
edge,
said yes, fair enough, that makes sense. In fact, of each one of them, we've already dealt with everything you brought, so I'm not sure why you are
I agree.
being so.
I agree.
But you're welcome to tell me which one I've not explained properly. Go ahead. Where's the issue rationally in what I've explained? If there is, if there isn't, you could say there isn't. Go ahead.
No. I would say the first one where you said, the second one where you said that there's a difference between knowledge that you know in the future or the knowledge that you eventually come to see. I think that kind of makes sense, but
kind of makes sense, or is it not a reality of when I know before you come, for example, and I already gave you this as a basic example, and after you came, if I know the game is going to happen and then I know the game has happened, these are not the same type of thing.
Yeah,
they're two separate types of knowledge.
Yeah, I mean they are two separate types of knowledge. But if the Quran says Allah knows everything, and then it says, oh, Allah is going to know this thing eventually.
He knows everything. Knows that.
Yeah.
No, he knows that thing before it happens, and he knows it when it happened that it happened in its reality.
Yeah.
Where's the issue in that?
Yeah, it's still saying he's going to know something in the future. It's still saying he's going to know something in the future. I'm not. See, the thing is, I'm not like
no, it's not. Again. No. You are, but in this case, you are, because it's not like he's going to know something that he doesn't know.
Yeah. Yeah, but it doesn't. It's not clear that that's what that means to me.
Well, it's not. Well, it's not about whether it is clear to you or not. It's what the tradition says. Tradition already explicitly mentions in many places, like I already told you, Allah, there are two types of knowledge. Already gives you verses of the Quran to that effect. So it's not we're making a new category or something. The Quran already mentions that. And then I already told you the Quran says that Allah knows everything, meaning before it happens. And then I told you that our scholars already mentioned this and have a specific term for it called ilm al-dhuhur. It's not something that we're bringing out of our pockets or something. Something that is tracing all the way back to the companions, which means the Prophet has taught them the meaning of these verses, that this knowledge here is referring to that. That's why you didn't get the disbelievers of Quraysh in Mecca saying, oh, how does God not know something? Because they understood the Arabic language and they understood there's two types of knowledge. We didn't get this criticism because it's not a real criticism in any way, shape, or form. And this was already explained. So, which part in what I'm saying is not rational? Where does it say that Allah doesn't know something? We've already agreed, and you haven't provided an example, and you cannot provide an example where it says that Allah doesn't know something. We have verses that says, I already responded to that. Lamma doesn't mean la. It's not the same thing.
Yeah, but it's like saying when Allah yet knows is saying that He doesn't know it now, right?
Yeah, I already told you the knowledge of something
I get
happening.
You're saying
yes,
something happened in the future,
so,
but the literal wording.
but you cannot say He doesn't know it now because He knows it will happen. That's why it doesn't use the term doesn't know. But it's now referring to a different type of knowledge, which is the knowledge of something appearing and happening after it happened.
Yeah. But I'm just saying the literal words.
Okay, this is what I mean by nitpicking.
Confusing. Huh?
This is no. But this is what I mean by nitpicking. Okay, what else other than this? Because I told you it's already explained in the tradition. It's like I'm not bringing anything new.
When you say tradition, which tradition?
Huh?
When you say tradition,
I'm talking about our Islamic tradition, meaning our scholars already explained this in the book, that these verses are referring to this. Like you didn't get people coming and saying, "Oh, Allah doesn't know something, and He will know something in the future." Nobody had understood the verses like this. That it's already explained in our Islamic history that this is the meaning of the verses, which is another point that I want to come to in a minute now. But I'm first taking you through the questions first. Okay, what else that I have not explained clearly?
I think that the Surah Kaf, where it says Vulcanine found the sun setting in a muddy spring, it can be perceived. I agree. It can mean that's what it seemed like. No, I don't know if it can mean that's what it seemed like, but perceived it is good enough for me. But it could also mean that that's what he found it.
Okay, what does found it mean? Explain it to me.
In Wahada, we went over that.
Yeah. What does it mean? No, you tell me. What does it mean? If you're saying it's not perceived and so, what does it mean? Found? Like in what way did he find it?
No, I said it can mean perceived.
No. Yeah, we already agreed. But you said, it can mean something else. Why is that something else? How did he find it?
It means that this is exactly what you came upon. It's not like this.
So there isn't another meaning.
Huh?
Okay, because you're just telling me, but it could mean something. Where is the other thing that it could mean?
So a lot of the times the actual verse is translated as he came upon it and it seemed as if the sun was. It's like that's not quite what I hear when I hear Wajada. It's like he saw it setting in the muddy spring.
We're not talking about the translation. We already talked about we're now talking about my explanation to you. That is what we're contesting right now. You said the explanation was not good enough. We already gave the explanation now. So you cannot appeal to the wrong translations. So once the explanation is given, because I already gave you also Lane's lexicon, which is not my interpretation of the Arabic language. It's already telling you how these words are used. So there is no other interpretation. That is how everyone understands it. That's why nobody have struggled with this verse from Muslims who read the Quran and read Surah Al-Kahf. Every Friday you have them reading it in the mosque. Nobody comes and says, "Oh, please," like the sun is setting. Nobody understands it that way because they understand there's a story being told here, the story of the Qarnayn, his journey, what he's doing, and him here seeing the sun. You know, when you hear the story, you visualize, which is the eloquence of the Quran. I can already visualize what he was doing. He was walking. I can visualize the lake. I can visualize the sun setting. I can visualize him seeing the people. So that beautiful eloquence of the Quran, somehow someone is coming to tell you, like there's an issue here. There's no issues. There's the issue of the understanding and comprehension of the person. Nothing else. Because we've been reading these verses, we've never had any issues with them. So, what else are you saying that I haven't explained properly?
Again, and the last one was the setting place of the sun. The sun has journeys to its for a fixed term or till its abode.
Yeah, how is that not explained properly when I already told you the sun is under the throne of Allah, and I already told you the hadith is referring to it. What seeking permission means and prostration means. So which part is not clear?
I mean, it's hard for me to read this hadith and hear people say that this isn't talking about a sun going around the earth. I don't even know where to start reading it.
Okay, please read the narration and tell me which part says the sun is going around the earth. That is your word.
So the prophet,
please.
Yeah.
Read for me the part that it says going around the earth. Yes.
So the Prophet, may Allah bless him and grant him peace, said to Abu Dhar, when the sun is set, do you know where it's going? I said, Allah and His Messenger knows best. He said, it goes until it prostrates beneath the throne, and then it seeks permission until it is given permission, and it is about to prostrate itself, but is not accepted from it, and then it seeks permission, but it is not granted. It is told, go back from whence you came. Then it rises in its place of setting, and that's what Allah Almighty says. And when the sun runs to a resting place, that is the decree of the Exalted in might, the knowing.
Sure. So do you understand now that the sun rising from the other place is something is going to happen in the end time?
Yeah, the sun rising from the west. Yeah.
Okay, sure. Yeah. So the sun rising from the west is one of the signs of the Day of Judgment, which this hadith is referring to, which the sun will be told to do, which is yet to happen. The sun is currently under the throat of Allah. It prostrates and glorifies Allah. Now, where is it here? Which is what you said. Everything is under the throne of Allah, including you and me. Now, where is it saying around the earth or whatever else you were saying? Where is that in the narration?
Well, Abu Dhar, it says, do you know where it's going? Where the sun is going when it sets?
Huh? Where is
the sun going somewhere?
Where is the earth? Where is the earth? Is the sun moving?
Huh?
Is the sun moving?
Yeah, the sun is moving, yeah.
Okay, so when we see setting, is it already moving? So it's going somewhere.
It's moving all the time, but that's not where it's going.
Okay, so wait. Let's take things step by step. Sun is moving.
Yeah.
When we see it setting, it is moving.
Yeah, it's moving all the time, yeah.
Okay, moving all the time. Now we already told you, explained to you what is going means it will have this ending place where Allah will tell it to go back. Okay, which is near the sign of the Day of Judgment, which is yet to happen.
Yeah.
Where is it saying the sun is going around the earth?
Well, if this is in context of the sun setting, and we're talking about where it's going,
we already explained to you. Sun setting is human language, and the sun is moving.
No.
And the narration talks about the sun moving. Where is it saying is going around the earth? Where is the earth in the narration?
Well, when we're talking about sunset, we're talking about the relation of the sun to the earth, right?
Okay, so you're clearly not being reasonable here. That's all I'm going to say. This and I say the people listening are already agreeing with me. By the way, they're very frustrated by you, but I'm just giving you the time either way. Because they say there's no way someone can hear the explanation 20 times and still doesn't see it. And someone was commenting earlier about how I deal and interact with different people, and you were in the backstage. And this is exactly my point. Last time you came, I removed you for a reason. Either way, what I'm going to say is this. You said the sun going around the earth, we already demonstrated there's no such thing. You produced other evidences and explanation. Then you said, okay, for me, it was confusing. I didn't understand all of this stuff. So, and you said the Quran promises me that it's a clear book or something to that effect, correct? What does the Quran tell you to do when you as a layman don't understand something?
To ask people that know.
Ask people that know. So why are you blaming the Quran when the Quran already gave you the fixed solution for these issues when you got confused? Like you're saying you got confused. Oh, I looked at this tafsir, which you don't speak the Arabic language. You don't understand the primary text and literature. So the Quran tells you, okay, you're a layman, you don't understand. What do you go? Go ask the people of knowledge if you do not know. Quran is explicitly clear about that in chapter 60. Now, and other places. So when the Quran tells you to do that, you didn't do that. So who's to blame, the Quran or you?
No, I did. I did do that.
When did you do that?
Like,
are you talking about right now?
15 years ago? 50. Well, this is part of it. This is part of it. But 15 years ago.
Okay. No, but you're doing it right now after you left. Like this. It's not as if
I mean,
you do it before you do it. You go to the people of knowledge before you make a conclusion. Not after 15 years. Not after 15 years of making the conclusion.
Later than never.
Either way. Yeah, no, I'm talking about blaming the Quran for what you're saying, which is you're trying to do, saying the Quran saying is clear. Quran tells you it's clear. And the same time, these are people of knowledge, just people of understanding, and they are lay people who don't necessarily grasp everything. And if something seems confusing to you, you go to the people of knowledge. Allah mentions those people who are grounded in knowledge. You go ask them. You cannot say I went to ask someone of knowledge, because if you did, they've already have given you the answer that I have given you. If they were people of knowledge, if already would know the answer, and they would give it to you. That means you asked the wrong people. So it's not that the Quran is to blame or Islam is to blame. It is you asking the people who are not the correct people.
Okay.
And then
how do I
making a
find the correct
conclusion.
people?
And the people of knowledge that have experience with these issues, meaning they dealt with these issues before, have a long experience with dealing with all of these, you want to call it doubts or whatever. There's many people like this. You've encountered probably many of them, seen many of them online. You go and ask someone of knowledge like that. Or a major scholar, if you can reach them. Many major scholars, if you were to go to, any big part of the Islamic world, whether it is in the Gulf countries or any part of the Middle East or whatever, there's an Islamic scholar, they will answer your questions. The same answers I gave you, even better. So it's not a difficult thing. Anyways, so now we've come to the conclusion. Conclusion is, you came with a mind saying, okay, someone told you to come, and I'm not going to be able to answer your question. You ended up bringing all these major questions that you're not going to be able to answer, and then in the end you said, oh, fair enough, okay, it makes sense. So you change your mind, and you realize that no, actually things are not the way you think they are, which is how we all should be as human beings, humble people, that we don't know everything, and until we try something, we shouldn't have a conclusion on it. And then in the end, you realize that your methodology was wrong, which is the methodology you took of not asking the people of knowledge and making a conclusion. Now the question is,
I don't know why you made that assumption.
I already told you, if you ask the people of knowledge, you would have already given you the same answer. So the fact that they haven't given you, then you didn't ask people of knowledge because they didn't have the knowledge. So it's not an assumption; it's a fact.
Okay.
If they were people of knowledge, if they were people of knowledge, well, there's no way that they wouldn't know. I know. Like, how are they people of knowledge then? So now the question is, what are you going to do since this has happened now? What are you going to do moving forward from now on?
Okay, can I ask one question? You might get annoyed by it.
Go ahead.
So this hadith by Abu Dhar, when it's talking about where the sun goes, it's not in relation to the sunset. Is that what you're saying? At all.
This hadith is the Prophet is explaining to us the verse in the Quran, which doesn't talk about the sunset. That's why the Prophet quotes it in the end of the narration. He quotes "Shamsu tajri li-mustaqarrin laha," and the verse doesn't talk about sunset or sunrise in the verse. So the Sahabi, the narration is asking the Prophet, where is the sun going? The Prophet is not going to say, oh, wait, there's something called general relativity, which you guys don't know 1,400 years ago. And actually, the sun, there's this model where the sun is going. He's not going to do that for a Bedouin Arab 1,400 years ago. The Bedouin Arabs asked a basic question. The wise people will give an answer to the extent of understanding of the person asking the question. So he's asking him, where is the sun going? So Prophet now is talking about the verse, the explanation of the verse of the Quran, where it talks about the sun moving and going, which it is going and moving. And then it talks about an event that will happen in the end times, which then the sun will be told to go back.
Okay.
That's it.
That seems to go against the direct text of the hadith, but I
what
don't
goes
think
against the direct text of the hadith?
The hadith says that the Rasul Sallallahu said the sun goes until it prostrates itself underneath the throne and takes permission to rise again. And the beginning of the hadith starts with
yes, it's talking about the movement of the sun. I told you already the setting and the rising is in our perception as human beings. So what do you think the Prophet is saying when he's saying rise again? What do you think he's saying? What we're perceiving, which is the sun is coming up in the morning, or the sun is going down.
Yeah.
Which is the movement of the sun.
Yeah.
Yes. So what's the issue?
It's hard to say.
You're holding on to the word. Look, this is a problem. You're contradicting yourself. You're holding on to the word of setting and rising. And when I mention it to you that it's referring to our perception, you say, yes, I agree. Of course it is mentioned. And then you go back to it again. So I don't know what to do with you, So if it is referring to our perception, you cannot then apply it to reality. Okay, then you can apply it to reality. The hadith is talking about it moving. When it talks about it rising or setting, it is still moving. We perceive the rising and setting. So where is the issue?
Yeah, we perceive the rising and setting, and that's how it was understood to work back then. That's the basis of the understanding
No,
of how
until
everything works.
today, we've already agreed. Until today, we say rising and setting.
No, I
And
know. I agree.
we understand.
Yeah.
You and me, we understand the sun is moving.
Yes.
And you and me, we say the sun is moving and it's rising and setting.
Yeah.
There's no contradiction between the two statements.
No, I agree, but it's not clear that they understood that in that hadith. That's my only problem.
Who cares what the person understood? We're talking about reality. The hadith is not talking about whether the person understood it this way or understood it that way. I don't understand why you're holding on to that. But the narration itself, its wording, there's nothing wrong with the wording. This is everything. This is all I need to present as a Muslim. Is there wording with the Islamic? Is there a problem with the wording of the Islamic text? No. Now, if someone misunderstands some text like you did, that we don't blame that on the text, obviously. So what's them how that person understands it got to do with the reality?
I guess if you're trying to work out what they understood, then you don't come to a clear answer. And in fact, the answer you come to is the one.
Why are you trying to work out what they understood? Is there anything in the Quran that tells you go and try to work out what the people in the past understood?
No, it's not about the people in the past. It sounds like the Quran is describing a sun that journeys around the earth, which you understand how that would be. Yeah.
No, I understand, and I'm saying this with all due respect. There's only a limit to how many times I can explain something. But like I said, I just wanted to demonstrate to the people that watch my channel, watch my videos, how there are always two types of people. People who are reasonable, open-minded, and sincere, and people who are, I'm going to say on the other side. I'm not going to say anything other than that. Either way, I've answered the question. Like the friend said, I'm going to answer the question. Whether you take the answer or not, that's in the end up to you. It's not for me. And when you stand before Allah, these excuses are not going to benefit you. This, like, trying to wiggle around and being unreasonable, deep down, it's not going to benefit you. So on that note, I'm going to move to the next one, because there are quite a few people, and we've been probably an hour or so talking.
Oh God, yeah. Okay. Yeah,
so I got to move on to the next person. All right, Adam, I'm sure I've given you plenty of time, All right, bye-bye.
No, you have. Yeah, absolutely.
No worries, bye-bye.